All right, I think we might be going back online in just a second. We shall see. Let's see. I might not even be streaming to the right place. Hopefully, everyone else. All right. Oh, guys, we have audio. I think we might be going back online in just a second. All right. I'm so sorry about that. You know what was the issue? Everything. I clicked the wrong button. Guys, we are now live. I am so sorry about those audio issues that we were having. That was my problem, and it is trial by fire as we learn how to do this. But for now, we should be good. Hopefully, you didn't hear the demons that just accosted us and made our ears bleed. I'm sorry about that if you did. Hopefully not. So again, welcome to Penny for a Tale. We are streaming our beginner Pathfinder campaign. Sorry, I'm messing with the audio now because we are loud, but at least we're heard. This is our beginner Pathfinder campaign taking place in Cowling, the area of Tian Sha that is across the sea from typical Pathfinder lore of the inner sea region. But before we kind of get into all that, real quick, I just want to say that we are sponsored by Fantasy Grounds Unity. You'll be able to see their maps in action pretty soon as we get into it. But I just want everyone to sort of introduce themselves and just say who they're going to be playing tonight. And we will start with Brittany.
Hello everyone, my name is Brittany. I am playing Miss Aerel Caerdonel. She is a elf yokai hunter, and she's a bit nervous, and she talks like this sometimes, and it'll be fun.
Perfect. And then we're going to go over to Ashely.
Hi, I'm Ashely, and this evening I will be playing Freya. She is also an elf, a bit on the shy side, and she's looking to have some fun.
All right. And Staffan.
Hi, I'm Staffan, and for this set, I'm going to be playing Pekka Kylemakki, the hobgoblin war priest of Selket, who therefore will only poison you if you've been a very naughty person.
And then over to Jen.
Hello, I am Jen, and tonight I will be playing Altair Bethema. She is the catfolk swashbuckler and co-leader of this mercenary band, and yeah, we're all in for a rousing good time.
Rousing good time. Perfect. And then Steve.
Hello, I'm the disappearing man. Um, so I will be playing Rukhari Tsukaba, a Tengu barbarian who's kind of from the wrong side of the tracks, bit of a rough and tumble sort of guy, but he's got some interesting facets. I'm excited to play him.
Perfect. And again, I'm Sam. I'm going to be the storyteller tonight. Again, thank you for sticking with us as we deal with our audio issues and all the demons that were happening. Again, this is our beginner Pathfinder campaign, and tonight's session is going to be called the Lantern Festival. So we are just going to go ahead and hop right into it without any more preamble. Just a little bit of backstory. Our group here, for the most part, except for Rukhari Tsukaba, has been a group together. But Jen, why don't I have you describe you and Ashely, how your group kind of came to be? Sorry.
So basically, Freya was a former slave, and in one of our, like my former crew, we raided the vessel that her and the other captives were on, and my Altair kind of got very close to Freya during this time, and basically decided to turn on her crew and go off with Freya into the sunset. And but we need money, so we formed a mercenary company. And then I don't know, Ashely, if you want to continue from there.
So we've kind of picked up people as we've went along. Pekka was the first one that we got, and Aerel we've picked up more recently, but she's been with our group for a while. And we've been without a job for a little bit here recently.
Yeah.
So we've taken this escort job, and we got to town, and hopefully this goes without a hitch, and we will get paid and move on to our next destination.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes without a hitch. So as your group sort of arrives in this festival, just sort of the sounds and sights, it's almost overwhelming. The air is sort of filled with the smell of roasting food, that salty, sweet smell. The air is sort of crisp and cool. It is middle of winter, but it doesn't seem like that coldness is able to touch you from just the lantern lights by these stalls. You could see, as you had walked in, that it was snowing, but the snow basically melts before it's able to get to you guys as you sort of walk down this middle aisle where all these vendors are shouting to you to come try their wares, to try their food. And it is dazzling to say the least. So you guys sort of have an option to go find the merchant that has is going to pay you to guide this caravan later on, or you can enjoy the festival for a little bit. You're a little early, kind of excited for the prospect of a job finally. But yeah, what is your group going to decide to do?
I think Pekka is trying the whole pedestrian in Rome trick of trying to be as much in the middle of the group as possible. If only because he's generally a little bit uncomfortable in crowds, being just that little bit taller than normal. And as the rest of the group knows, if particular branches of the military happen to be around, questions might start getting asked that we don't really want to answer.
That's true. Why don't you describe real quick what Pekka looks like?
Sure. Pekka is he's about 6'5" tall and weighs in at the decent size, so about 240 pounds or so. He's got a fair amount of muscle on him. He's wearing a large, almost Western style robe. It's a thick. It's an Asian style robe, but done in a fairly thick leather. So it sort of has that US Western vibe to it, particularly since he also has a broad brimmed hat. He carries his shield and mace prominently tucked away on his back. and at his belt is noticeably hanging on a piece of rope from his belt is a rather thick, well-worn leather book with about half a dozen pages sort of falling out of it at any given point in time. It's definitely seen better days. And around his neck, he's wearing a Selkat amulet in wood.
Perfect. And it seems like, despite your desire to stay in the middle and hidden, most of the sellers and merchants are speaking more directly to you than anyone else in your party. Strangely for you, but Brittany, why don't you go ahead and describe your character?
So when you see Aerel, you see an elf, but she's elf. She's like thin, but like not that very thin, and she's wearing like all black, have all black leather armor. Like she has like I'm trying to describe it in my head and I can't. She just say she has all leather, all black armor on, with her long black hair just falling all over curtains, like kind of and stuff, because she doesn't comb her hair with all the mystery. She doesn't have time, and she has her great sword back, and she just looking around. Her hands are in her pockets or to her sides as much as she can, because she's resisting to go over to one of the merchants and like get one of the foods, and it's just like I'm not gonna do it. I want to do it. Nope, 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 nope. And then, she's like nervously twisting her fingers because she's nervous because it's been a long time. She's been in a big city, so she's just like, see it. I want to. Nope, not gonna do it.
Oh, your self-control is very strong because you smell those sort of sticky sweets as you walk by, just filling your nose. And walking right next to you, Ashely, go ahead and describe your character.
So I am sticking very, very close to Altair. At this point, I would say I'm holding her hand, very almost laying my head on her shoulder, keeping as close. I don't like crowds. I don't like large groups of people I don't know. And that's all that's around me at this point. So I have my hair, I have long black hair with purple running through it. I have it braided to the side and over. It goes about halfway down my back. I am an elf. I have a long black dress on that fits me well, but it is not showing at all. And on my shoulder rides a raven. The unique thing about this raven, though, is it has two different colored eyes. It has, and it is always with me. And I have a patch over one of my eyes, an accident from the slavers. So.
Perfect. And then it just seems to flow right into Altair. Why don't you describe your character?
Unlike the others, I feel like Altair just kind of exudes confidence. Just, even though she hasn't really been here before, she just seems like, she just seems like she belongs here. She is about 5'10". She is a cat folk. But unlike other cat folk, her features are kind of more muted, and like paler, more grayed out, and she has very vibrant purple eyes. She has she's kind of like a gray cat with and wears a kimono over one shoulder, leaving her sword arm free. While, you know, the sleeve side is obviously, you know, just wrapped around Freya. Like, again, as far as, you know, whether it is for Freya's benefit or just that's how she is, like, she just exudes it like, yeah, everything's fine and natural and, like, don't even worry about it. Like, no matter how hard Freya's clamping to her shoulder, she does not seem bothered. um, and you know, but what is cool though is basically you know, she would be keeping an eye out for anybody like taking note of Pekka, and just kind of like the ease will periodically shift to like icy glare of just like if she notices somebody's like about to like whisper something, that it's just like, you better not. Yeah, but otherwise, you know, she's just like, hey, we're here early, might as well enjoy some of the festival. Because we'll be
Yep,
on the
and there-
road for a while.
It's true. But around you, there is a lot to enjoy. You know, despite the looks that people are giving Pekka, they don't seem to be weary or malicious in any way. It seems almost respectful. These sort of nods as though they think that he is someone of importance. But if you, Altair, you notice that if you were to meet someone's eye, definitely very quickly look away. But we are going to move away from our group that is happily enjoying the festival, walking down the street. And you may have noticed that one of our own is missing. We're going to go over to Steve. As you sort of stumble through the forest, this bright light up ahead is the only spot of warmth that you've seen in a while. You could kind of hear the low rumbling of many voices up ahead, and it is the first sign of civilization that you have thankfully are just kind of drawn towards, like a moth to the flame. You're injured and clothing tattered, you're hungry. You could smell the food just sort of wafting on the breeze towards you, and it just sort of makes you that much more hungry. Real quickly, why don't you describe your character?
Gladly. So Rukhari is pretty big as Tengus go, which, if I recall correctly, they're kind of dwarven sized usually. They usually max out at around 5 feet. He's pushing that a little bit higher, so not a whole lot of people are looking down at him. He's a big bird. He is filled out, although a lot of that might be feathers at this point. He his armor, what you would call armor, is kind of it is kind of tattered, although it probably started out fairly similarly. Just hide armor, a little bit of lacquered splint kind of cobbled together, probably picked off some unlucky corpse. Kind of yellowish orangish eyes, and a surprisingly well kept, fairly nice looking curved blade at his side. He's just stumbling through. Oh, thank all things holy. Please let there be food.
There is definitely food. That is the one thing that you could smell as you go. You could almost sort of pinpoint every delectable thing that you have not had in such a long time with almost uncanny accuracy. It just seems like every smell separates for you. But as you sort of stumble through, you notice off to the left a camp that has sort of been set up outside of the original sort of festival that's just a little ways beyond. So do you sort of beeline it for this festival or go towards this camp that seems to be a little closer, but you don't know if there's food there?
I would say he'd go for the festival.
Perfect. All right. So as we're going to get back to you, we're going to go over to the rest of the group. What you guys are enjoying the festival? What is your plan to arrive at this merchant? On time, fashionably early, fashionably late?
A little early to on time.
Perfect.
We are professionals.
You are professionals, but you don't want to seem overly eager, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't want to appear like, you know, we are as hungry as we are, but you know, at the same time, we don't want to be dicks and lose the gig.
Yeah.
That's true. And
So,
you've also,
you know,
probably have had to drag Aerel away from a couple of stands. I mean, like, you don't have the coin to buy that delectable treat right there. But somehow you managed to have a stick of something delicious that Altair probably handed you. Don't know where exactly that came from, but he takes care of you.
Don't worry about it.
So as you arrive at this merchant, why don't we go ahead? And she greets you in a kind manner. This is the same person that you sort of had met earlier to get this job. And you are met with, my apologies, as I get everything figured out. A woman, you can see that she is probably part Naga, the snake skin along her shoulder, her hair dark, smiles at you and looks towards Pekka, as though he is the one that is leading this party. Are you the ones here to guide my caravan? She's speaking directly to him.
Yeah, takes a couple of seconds before responding, and then well, if my bosses say we are, and he'll nod over towards Altair.
She seems confused at this. A quick glance over at Altair and this sort of scoff as she looks back towards Pekka. I didn't think that you'd be one for jokes, but no worries.
It is all right. They are perfectly top shelf.
Again, she looks confused. Glances over at Altair, at Freya, and Aerel, and just seems to. You could literally see the gears turning in her head. And again, she just looks back towards Pekka. We had agreed upon a price for the delivery, yes?
Yes. Have the terms
Useless.
changed now that you've seen our faces?
I will have to. She doesn't know quite what to say as you speak directly to her. No. As long as you can do the job, I'm sure it will be fine. I just wasn't expecting. It's fine. And you just sort of see this smile plaster on her face.
I will look at her, and in Nigeria, I will say, what seems to be the problem?
She is surprised that you're able to speak her tongue. I had thought that the elves were and this cat were slaves, but it appears our hobgoblin is working with you.
Again, in her tongue, I will reply, you see slavery as us. Would not the people that would attack your caravan see us the same? Does that not give us an advantage in combat?
Suppose you're right, but I need an assurance that I can trust you. Slaves, they are willing to turn on anyone to get their freedom.
We are not slaves. No one here is.
When you hired
Right.
us for this job, you did so because you were familiar with our reputation. Reputations are built upon the deeds and the guarantees that those of us have managed to achieve in various battles and various circumstances. Obviously, we have a very good reputation, and it is one that has been earned. I will attempt to do a coerce.
Perfect.
Okay. Alright. What? Why am I not trained in intimidation? I should be, Sam.
You definitely should be.
Yeah,
See if
that's my panache generator.
I know. I'm like, hold on there. Intimidation. Let's go ahead and change
Kind
that.
of need that.
Go ahead and reroll. I am sorry about that.
Okay, thank y'all.
Were you trained or were you an expert in it?
I might be an expert. Let me double check. Skills.
So the great thing about
I am
Pathfinder
expert,
2E,
yes.
Yes. The skill system is a little bit different than those of you who are familiar with 1E. You have the trained, expert, master, and is there one more after that? Or untrained, and those are what gives you bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do this?
So yeah, she basically just like looks her directly in the eyes without blinking and says, when we commit to a job and say we're going to do it, then it is done.
She's taken aback for a moment, but then finally she will smile at you. It would seem that despite our differences, your reputation is what I had expected. Go and enjoy the festival. I am still loading this caravan, but once the fireworks end, be sure that you're back to guide it to its destination. Is that fair?
Of course.
Excellent. And she will actually hand you some coin, a small bag. Again, a slight tilt of her head. A quarter of the payment. You will receive the rest when everything is safely delivered.
I will use one of my cantrips and send a message to Altair to tell her that the raven will be staying with the caravan to watch.
Perfect.
Altair would just like, sort of do a very slight nod, just to acknowledge that it was received, but like not out of anything behavior. But she would like look at the I guess like she would like take the bag of coins and like hold it in her hand and be like, quarter upon taking the job. Usually it is half and then half upon delivery. Were those not the terms that we agreed to?
Are you questioning my honor? No, you receive a quarter now, and then the rest later.
Very well.
You definitely see this smug look cross her face. Sort of irks you. She feels like she's won something.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. But she turns, seemingly to dismiss you, and goes back towards her stand.
I would
Just completely turns her back.
I would look to Pekka and quietly whisper to him, perhaps you can get the rest of what is owed to us, given that you are a man of honor and she has dishonored us. And then she would walk out with Freya.
And as she does that, I will like flick my raven up in the air, and the raven just kind of like lands there and just watches as everything's going on.
Perfect. So Raven is staying. Aerel, what about you? Are you going to follow Altair out or stay?
Yeah. Because she literally had her head down the whole entire time, but her head did perk up a bit when she heard the word slave. She's gonna look at Freya and Altair and then at Pekka. She does this like a couple times. She's like, oh boy, I'm going to stay with Pekka to make sure he gets the rest of the cash. Well, I don't sound like that though. So she kind of and like I'll see y'all later, and she like comes like a little bit right next to Pekka because she just like I have nothing else to do. So because if I go to that festival, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Altair would whisper to Aerel, keep your head held high. You don't bow to the likes of her.
She
walks out.
she hears that she just nods and like says okay quietly, and like kind of And she straightens up a little bit. You see her like straighten her back as she like sits right next to Pekka, straightens up, make sure nothing happened. She's like Pekka's a little bodyguard.
Pekka, this is not a surprise to you in the least. You know that at least within Cowling, where you spent the majority of your life, that elves and catfolk are not looked well upon. There are large populations of elven slaves. And this is a hobgoblin nation, so seeing you with all these people, they probably assumed that you were, you know, someone well to do with 2 elven slaves and a cat folk slave. It kind of explains the looks earlier, but who knows what it will be now that they know. But the lady will turn her head and look back towards you, noticing that you're still standing there. Is something the matter?
I believe everything is in order, but I am sure that we will be able to prove our suitability in but a short while. And he'll just turn with a slow grin on his face that just oddly accentuates the tusks. And he puts an arm out around Aerel, sort of, come along. Kind of like a big brother taking somebody away from a fight almost. And he's going to kick off a message to Altair going, we will get the extra, I'm sure, but let's wait until after the fireworks.
After the fireworks. With that, again, we will head back over to our dear Tengu, who has stumbled into the festival through the main gate, but standing just leaning against the gate, looking at you, seeming surprised. A man and a half elf steps forward. His clothing is slightly different than any that you've seen before. And he tries to talk to you, but it doesn't make sense. He's speaking a language that you don't understand. But he's holding out his hand to you. Yeah. Just trying to get you to come over to him.
He will. He'll keep, I guess, a taloned hand on his blade, but he'll approach.
Yeah, the half elf again says something in a language that you don't understand. But as he takes your arm, this sort of warmth flows through you as you are healed from the wounds that you had closing. It's almost sort of this burning sensation, you know, as those wounds close from axes that had bashed upon you earlier. But it seems like this man who, not knowing you, has healed you.
Okay. He will. I guess in case it wasn't made clear that he's not speaking the same language, he will say in Tengu, "You have my thanks."
The man shakes his head, still not understanding, but the thing that definitely sticks out to you about him is that he doesn't look like he's from around here either. everything about his mannerisms, his awe of the festival just speaks more foreigner than even you. And you'll sort of notice as you look around that there are a lot of people dressed similar to him, just sort of doing that tourist thing of walking around with their eyes wide, and just taking in the sights. But he takes your arm and gives it this gentle squeeze, and smiles at you, seeming to understand the thanks, even though the tongue is different. And we'll sort of point into the festival.
All right. He will kind of take his hand off the sword, reach into a little side pocket, and give the guy 2 silver.
He shakes his hand, not wanting to accept it, actually.
He will,
And again,
insist.
you just see him sigh, shake his head, but he'll take the coin. But only one. He'll just pluck the one from your hand, even though that there was 2. Again, just he holds up his hands and tries to urge you away.
Okay. I guess with that done, he will go into the city. Although when he's moving through the city streets, he's definitely awed. He's a country bumpkin. He's never been in a place like this. But almost kind of instinctively,
you don't even know if what this guy did was normal.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I get this is, Wulong hospitality. Who knows? So he'll kind of instinctively keep either his back or shoulder to a wall, because that's kind of how he likes to move. It's probably one of the reasons he's still alive and not dead in the mountain somewhere. He'll try and look for some food, and he'll also keep he doesn't really have ears. He'll keep a tympanic membrane out for some work.
Real quick, we're gonna have you roll perception.
Can do.
Is your thing okay?
Main need ranged. Perception. There it is. 12.
Yeah. Your arm is grabbed, pulled towards the tent. You didn't see it coming. Your eye was sort of distracted by the food that you were about to head towards, that stand. And a woman pulls you, her eyes white, as she stares at you, and you notice that you've been pulled into the fortune teller's tent. And she just has this vice gripped on your forearm, as she looks at you. Where are you from, Birdie?
Across the mountains. Beyond that, not really much of your business.
Where are you going?
Wherever they'll pay good gold for good steel.
There's more. There's more. There's a dark spirit about to haunt our people. Its black wings dripping poison and malice. What will you do to stop them?
Lady, I don't know how people around these parts see Tengu. I know we're a spiritual lot, but my trade is taking steel and putting it in opponents. Spirits are not my thing.
But it will be a harbinger of death. The ground will be soaked in blood. You have to do something. Something
If
is
it
about to happen.
is coming after me,
It's coming after all of us.
if it comes after me, and a sword can stop it, I suppose I'll have to try and put it down. Emphasis on the try.
She just sighs heavily. So you're not understanding something, and will reach towards your face. Do you try and stop her?
I'd say he'll recoil a little bit, but as soon as it kind of registers that she's not palming a blade or anything. She's not palming a blade or anything, is she?
It's hard to know. It's dark in here.
So yeah, he'll
Perception roll.
recoil.
Yeah, you can't get far with that grip that she has on your arm. But her hands sort of stop short, clenching. You notice fingernails that are slightly too long, sharpened into thick points. That could be weapon enough. Oh, birdie, birdie, birdie. Something is about to happen, and your sword might not be enough. There's going to be castles that crumble, a pile of broken thrones. You know, her eyes are white and there's no pupil, but it feels like she's staring right at you. And I hope that you are enough for the task. I don't know why you have come, but the future, it's so dark. Someone's not gonna make it.
Well, that is the world we live in. Lots of people die every day, not even a glorious battle. Strewn on the streets with swollen bellies from hunger.
She lets go of your arm. You can see that she's slightly hunched with age, but that power that she just held you by does not seem like it could come from someone her age. Go now. There are people looking for you. They just don't know it yet.
Believe me, I'm well aware that there might be people looking for me. That's why I'm here. And I'll turn and leave.
But back to the group. Walking down this main thoroughway. What are you looking for? How are you going to pass the time?
I feel like Altair wants to talk to Pekka after he got out of there a bit later. So you understand what she was doing in there, right? And you understand why I gave it to you to resolve the situation. You're muted.
Absolutely. And it will be resolved. I just think that her embarrassment will be all the greater when she is shown to be the bigot that she is, rather than just being told it.
But here is the problem I have. Because she has shortchanged us at the beginning, which sets the job on the wrong foot. What is to stop her from shortchanging us at the end and doing the same?
That is why I feel that we do not start the job until we have our due. There is some time to go before we need to start.
As long as you have a plan and it is in order. Because again, this our unit does not work unless we all work together. All of us have our own unique skills and talents and abilities. And she looks, at Aerel to sort of give that like, yeah, no, you're important also. And when we rely on the strength of the pack, that is when we are at our most impressive.
I have a question. When she doesn't when she shortchanges again, even though we can't, is it alright if I stab her just a tiny bit, just one time? It won't be like the last time I did it. It's just once. It's one stab, just once.
So you know where the non-vital organs are this time. You've studied the charts.
Yep, I studied the charts. I promise it will go to the right organ, not the bad one like I did that one time. We shall never talk about ever again, because that was my bad. I'm just gonna put myself. I was never there. I did it. It was another person. And she's literally like trying to explain how that stabby thing happened. It's like, another person.
Again, I have 2 rules. Number 1, we get paid. Number 2, don't get caught. When you botch both rules in the same job, that is when we have a problem. So long as you abide by those rules, I don't care what you do with her. I don't really like her. People get stabbed mysteriously all the time. It's just an unfortunate fact of life. But you were never there. And we got paid. Are we clear?
Yep, we is very, very clear. We're very clear on that.
As this is going on, I reach over and I kiss Altair on the cheek, and I pull a couple silver out of the bag and grab Aerel. There's a tea tent next door. I go, I'm going to go see what's going on. and I grab Aerel, and me and her
Mhm.
go have a cup of tea, and I'm going to use my shared senses to spy
Spy on who?
on the caravan and what she is doing.
Perfect. So yes, why don't you describe this as you take hold of Aerel? What happens?
So I drag Aerel over to the thing so Pekka and Altair can continue their conversation if they need to, because I need somebody to support and watch out for me when I do this. Because basically what happens is I transfer my consciousness into my familiar. So I can physically continue to move, but I lose all of my senses. I can't feel, touch, hear, anything. So I need somebody there to kind of watch out for me. And I basically project myself into my raven, and I can use my raven senses to kind of scout for us. She can look out for what's going on. Like right now, she's at the caravan, so she knows what's going on with our contact, as well as kind of if anything seems to be amiss at the caravan, and things like that. So I'm just checking in to see. I can do this every 10 minutes for about a minute. There are some nasty side effects if I get knocked into or anything like that for a short period when this is going on, though.
Yeah. Give me a fortitude roll.
A fortitude?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So you and Aerel go off to the tea tent. Aerel, this is your thing. Absolutely love tea. And sort of in your excitement, you pull Freya just a little too much, trying to get to this tea tent and jostle her, but not before Freya is able to get some information. As you look through your raven's eyes, you again see the caravan and our lovely lady who has shortchanged our group. And she is talking to a man, a hobgoblin in red armor. Looks very important. She is definitely bowing to him. A totally different attitude than what she had towards you guys. Let me switch that over so you can see it. And you catch the words, "There's foreigners here. I don't know how we're going to get the caravan out." The man shakes his head. "It is no matter. It will be done. I have a meeting with them soon. Just make sure that the goods are on their way." And then you're pulled out, suddenly moved, a sickness overtaking you, as you are suddenly and forcefully put back into your own body.
So I stand there for a little bit, trying to gather myself. And I kind of like hit Aerel in the stomach a little to get her attention.
I feel like I feel like seeing that like Altair was already watching Freya out of the corner of her eye, but then it's just like she like looks at Pekka and is like, "If you'll excuse me," and like power walks over to like, give her wife that supportive hand and like, of like steadying and like, are you all right, my love?
We might have a problem, though.
I almost had to cheat when you did that, Freya.
Mid
It
tea
could have
drink
been quite
punch.
worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was the tea cold again?
Well, let's just say it went down the wrong pipe. That's all we're gonna say. It went down the wrong pipe, and she picks up the tea and like drinks it again, and she's not trying not to hack up along, but she's okay. I'm fine. Almost wrong pipe.
Deep breaths. So, problem.
Mhm. She's talking to another hobgoblin, and they're trying to get the caravan out, but it seems like we're the issue. The foreigners are the issue, so I don't know what's going on. I couldn't get a good enough read on the situation, and I kind of glare over at Aerel.
Hey, you said go get tea, and you realize like her nervousness is gone now that she's right next to the tea. She's like, I was trying to get tea, and then I accidentally jostled you, so I'm sorry about that. And then you nearly made me cough on my own tea. I'm just gonna she's just like this the whole entire time. Like, I'm just gonna be quiet.
That's a
Just
good
very
idea.
quiet.
So, we have a hobgoblin
Mhm.
coming here to talk to us.
I don't know. I think so. And he's different. He's in red armor, and she almost seemed reverence showing to him.
Does the red armor mean something to you, Pekka?
Yes.
That
He is a high station. If he's in armor like that at a festival. You not seeing the armor for yourself, you don't know what station that is, but definitely higher up there than a normal
I will
hobgoblin in the military.
I'll describe it to him the best I can, but being jerked back like that would definitely affect my ability to recall with detail.
I feel like Altair would just be like, you know, sort of like putting like soothing fingers through her hair or something like that to just be like, it's okay. But like she's like glaring at Aerel like, you hurt my wife.
I
That's
was trying to get
fucking
tea.
problem. That was the problem.
Rip Aerel, who didn't do it. I was innocent. I didn't do nothing. She the one who punched me in the stomach I mean, she said, go get tea. That's what I did. And she literally tried to explain what happened. And then she's like, I'm just going to stop because I'm going to wind up.
You are saying a lot of things, and I need you to not.
Okay.
She is not doing well. That is a result of your actions. Yes, you got hit in the stomach, but I am not doing anything to you because she did that. So is this not a blessing for you? The correct answer is yes. You should be nodding right now. So the red armor, Pekka.
that does not sound like particularly good news. It sounds very much like someone in the upper quartile of the establishment. Someone who is used to getting their own way just by existing.
So that is curious then, because if one is that high ranking and responsible for this, why seek private mercenaries to escort something of this importance? Why not use your own personal army or forces or whatever minions these types have under their control? It's
The
curious,
thought
isn't it?
does occur that what if you did not want this caravan to reach its destination? Why risk your own troops and reputation?
Do we know, Sam, where it's supposed to go?
Just some minor city, just south of Ducharg.
And we don't really know a lot about that particular city.
Actually, you do. You know that the city that you're going to is just sort of almost a suburb of the capital. Just a small town right outside. It seems curious that he would hire a band of mercenaries to take on a job when it seems like he would have a lot at his disposal.
So either it is something very valuable that he does not want to draw attention to, or like you said, it is something very embarrassing that he wishes to be lost and gotten rid of.
Curious conundrum.
All right. Well, for right now, let's keep our eyes and ears open. Aerel, if my lovely wife takes a hold of you next time, do everything in your power to give her a smooth and comfortable escort.
Yes, ma'am.
I rise up. I'm fine.
I know you're fine. You're always perfect, my love.
So cute. All right. We're going to move over to our Tengu, who is not far from this caravan. You have a stick of something in each hand that you've been munching on. Those coins going far that he left you one silver coin. And you see this curiosity, this man in red armor talking to a lady. Not sure if this is something you should stick your nose into, but he does look very important. But there's also a whole festival awaiting you. What kind of personality do you have?
A very straightforward one.
No.
I would say he's brash enough to just kind of be like, "Hi." Well, I mean, his thought process is, well, I've got food, may as well secure work. So he'll kind of come from behind the red guy, be like, "Hello there."
A very slow turn as he looks down on you. No, up at you. You're a very tall Tengu. But he doesn't say anything as he looks at you. His red eyes peering into your own orange ones.
He meets the stare right on. You wouldn't happen to know of anyone paying good coin for good steel, would you?
Are you the good steel?
Well, I'm not. I don't see anyone else asking.
No, but you could be asking on behalf of someone. He turns to look over at the lady. I believe that there is a job, but you'll have to talk to her. He looks almost disgusted that he said any words to you. Again, Tengus are not looked upon highly in this area. Not many people except hobgoblins you're finding are looked very well upon.
Well, funnily enough, he actually kind of likes that. He's not big on people who are on their high horse, so anytime he can make higher-ups uncomfortable, that's a good day for the Tengu.
Well, then this is a good day because it looks like he is disgusted by your presence. He said words to you. Disgusting. Absolutely. And it doesn't look like the woman is as happy either as this man this hobgoblin puts the job over onto her to talk to you, rolling her eyes, and you just sort of hear her muttering under her breath that this is the worst caravan I have ever had to deal with. She's not happy about this. But she'll look at you and just sort of raise an eyebrow expectantly. And how much are you expecting to earn?
Oh, not, I would say, competitive wage. But that, I suppose, depends on how valuable a Ronin is to you.
She looks you up and down. A Ronin like you, not much. But I'm sure we could find something for you to do.
Very practical-minded of you.
I try. Come back when the fireworks are done. You'll have a job guarding this caravan.
You have my thanks.
She dismisses you. Yes. So, how do you spend the rest of the festival waiting for these fireworks?
I would say he's going to find like a stack of crates or barrels, someplace where he can just kind of sit down, get his back against a wall, and just relax. He's had a long journey, and yeah, he wants to take a load off. Just look up at the sky.
Yeah, I mean, despite the healing, your clothes are still tattered. You still look a mess. So definitely sitting down and trying to rest before a potential job is probably a good idea. Let's go back. Freya, you are feeling better now. And despite what you believe, it does not seem that this warlord has sought you out. But Aerel, what are you doing right now?
Mm-hmm. Recovering from, well, after I'll say it terrifies her. She finishes off her tea. She's like, "Well, I'm gonna find someone else to do. If y'all need anything, just give me a holler." And she gets up and
before she like as she's getting up, but before she leaves, like Altair would like take one of the coins out of the bag and just like flick it over to her. Have some fun.
she catches it and she looks at the coin and she kind of beams like a little kid and nods and just runs off to find something to do because she is currently terrified of Altair right now. Very terrified. So she's probably gonna go.
Poor Aerel.
Yeah, she's so terrified of her boss that might kill her one day. She's gonna go. Is there like a little like a little like merchant stand where there's like, I don't know, something like they're selling stuff?
What kind of stuff? I mean, you can find anything that you want here. It seems like there are stands for just about everything.
Oddly enough, she wants to go to the jewelers. I think she'll go to the jeweler. And she's just looking at all of the nice jewels, and she goes, excuse me, how much are the are these beautiful jewels?
The merchant looks down at what you're looking at, looks up at you. 15 gold. And you know that price is astronomically high for something like this.
Physical, jeez. Ah, man. Yeah, that hurts, because these don't look like 15 gold. These probably look like, I don't know. I don't know, like 10 gold, 9 gold, 1 gold. I'm trying to close this taller.
You just sort of see his face of like, oh, we're haggling to 1 gold, complete and utter, like, you have insulted him deeply. And
Is
he
she
will just
still
start
within
shouting at you.
sight? Is she still within sight of us?
Yeah, she's just gone up the way a little bit. And you could definitely hear this merchant now shouting at Aerel in a variety of different tongues about how she has insulted him.
I tap Altair and Pekka on the shoulder, and I say, "We have a problem."
Aerel, this
Somehow.
man is coming out from behind his stand. He looks confrontational. Like, how dare you? One
Wait.
So
Hold on. Hold on, sir.
As soon as we are in eyesight, I will cast Evil Eye on him.
I feel like Altair just like looks at Pekka and is like, all right, so my way involves fewer words and more violence. Your way has more words and less violence. Let's do your way first. And she just gestured towards the guy, like, lead the way.
Yeah. You've gathered sort of a crowd around you, Aerel, sort of surrounded by this merchant. You see that he has put a hand on the sword at his side, but everyone within the festival can hear how he is shouting at you.
Wait, hold on.
Storyteller, I touch Pekka and cast guidance on him.
All right. Guidance, you get a +1 on saving rolls,
Perception, saving,
perception,
and skill checks.
skill checks as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling skill check is going to come into this in just a second. Pekka, having taken a deep breath and just randomly quickly opened his book at a page and glanced at it and put it back, is going to more or less barge his way forward through the crowd, assuming that it's not full of people in red armor and warlords and such.
Oh, it's sort of a mixed crowd. Just that everyone that has come towards this festival. foreigners, Tengu, everyone. You sort of push past a Tengu that's been familiar to us as you go forward. No,
Okay.
he's sleeping. JK.
Basically, culturally, those are perhaps less import. That's good. In which case,
Yes.
Pekka will just barge his way forward in his best brusque and fire and brimstone preach manner, and go forward, reach to grab Aerel by the scruff of her neck as he goes, "Child, what have I told you about talking to those who you are our betters?" And just give her a slap around the back of the head. So, no apologies for her inconveniencing you. She will be dealt with. He's going to go. Hopefully that
Give me a
didn't hurt too
diplomacy.
much as he drags her back.
Ow! Ow! He had. Ow!
I feel like Altair and Freya were like sort of just walking in the wake that he had made, but like, you know, more casually, but there to like provide that presence at his back.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Yeah. So pulling you out. The man seems like this is acceptable punishment for her as he goes back, and the crowd almost reluctantly disperses. You know, they were hoping for something a little bit more.
Pekka,
You
God!
Yeah.
Ow! He had. Ouch! Aerel needs.
Aerel.
Aerel needs.
Next time you decide to negotiate for baubles, make it a good insult. Poison their mind properly against you. That way, when they attack, you have the advantage, not the stares of the crowd.
The thing was 15 gold. I kind of said, well, maybe it's $1. I mean, not $1, a gold, 1 gold, and then he got angry. Gosh, you know, you know.
It's because you leave the room for them to question you. Again, hold your head high. Look them in the eye. It is what you say it is, and make it certain there is no room for doubt of what you say. Then you will have the result that you seek without the need to brandish your blade, because your words will be the blade in and of itself.
Yes, out there, but God, Pekka, whenever you about to smack me upside my head, can you warn me? Gosh,
That would defeat the purpose.
I mean, that's true. It would. Ow. Okay. You know what?
Pain is a lesson.
I guess next time I might be able to send you a message.
Yeah. I mean, I just, he had this pretty cameo of this it was a purple jeweled cameo. It reminded me of something one of my cousins would wear, and I was going to get it until I opened my mouth. It was pretty, so
We could always cause a distraction and see if my bird can grab it for you.
Well, are you sure you? I mean, I don't want to like stress you out, but are you sure you want to do it, Freya? Because
She's pretty good at it.
and you see Aerel like
Rukhari,
thinking about it. She's like thinking about it. She's like,
So
sorry.
with my pet, I have something called Partner in Crime, where, or with my familiar, I have something called Partner in Crime, where she can aid in my thievery checks if I use her. And it automatically, she automatically aids, so I automatically get a +2 to my thievery checks.
Oh, so you're gonna try and steal this bauble from this guy's stand?
Potentially. That's what I'm offering if it comes down to it.
Up to
Because
you,
I actually
really.
have a fairly good thievery.
Perhaps it is some sort of kismet destiny that you came upon this gem here and it is meant to be with you.
oh, all right, Freya, you can even sure. I mean, I have to work. I'll pay you back if you get it. But if you want to get it for me, that's fine.
Pekka, you hear them debating stealing things, but might not matter.
This
item
feels
listed on
like
top
it's
shelf.
in a good course to Pekka. He's not too worried about which side of the law. And nobody ever accused Selkit of being particularly lawful last I checked. So now he's looking around because he's concerned that when things go wrong, he's going to have to rescue them out of there somehow. But that's for later.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
in
Like
this
I want to
case,
be clear. I want to be clear that like while Tara's just like, yeah, all right, like that could be like her hand is on the hilt of her scimitar, just like, yeah, you know, this would be fine. Blah blah blah. Gonna keep my weapon close.
I feel like I
It'll
have
just
to
be
go
a-
ahead and let you attempt this, Freya. So
Do it.
it'll just
Do
be the
it.
birdie flying down.
Mhm.
I mean, we can be as far away as possible. We don't have to be anywhere near.
Do you have the oh god, is it oh man. I don't remember what skill it is, but the one that does make a distraction, because that should give you a bonus to thievery too. Deception,
Yes, I do.
think?
Yes.
Yeah, so attempt like make a distraction and then you should get a bonus also.
Mhm.
If I remember right.
Yes. Yep. My birdie is very much so set to help in our endeavors.
you're getting a good nap, Rukhari. Just saying.
This is about ready to wank him up if this goes poorly. It's okay. Yeah. So yes.
Go ahead, give me a roll.
So okay, so I would have a modifier of 3 on top of this, I believe. Let me make sure I don't have anything else. So, yes, he can use his claws as hands. Or she can use her claws as hands. Yeah, I have a modifier of 3 on top of this, of my thievery.
Okay.
Did you roll it or do I need to?
I rolled something. Go ahead and roll some thievery.
Okay. Is there a way to add an additional 3 to this, Sam, that I am not aware of? Or do you just do that yourself?
I will do it.
Okay, and we will be far away when we do this, by the way. We're not going to be close.
Are you going to have your bird fly directly back to you, though?
I will tell her to fly back to the caravan.
Okay.
Ooh.
So a 24.
Ooh,
Perfect.
nice.
You're far away. You don't hear the ruckus, but Rukhari does, as the shopkeeper is just shouting, trying to swat away this bird that has taken some baubles off of his stand. Quite distracting when you're trying to sleep. As it flies off and actually will land near you on the caravan, just sort of trying to be out of sight.
He just goes,
This,
shoot, out of here.
it'll fly off again.
So it is, I was going to say, it is independent in this situation with me not being there. It is at the GM's discretion what the familiar would do.
Yeah. That's this little birdie, and it saw something shiny. All right, so everyone roll perception for me real quick. But your bird will let you know that it was a success. If you were curious.
Aerel, it got your gift for you.
Oh.
Oh no, Pekka.
Oh.
What?
Pekka, you're distracted.
The sun's in his eye.
This is it's night.
The moon is in his eye, like a big pizza pie.
That's amore.
I love it. Alrighty. Rukhari, you will hear it first. Let's see here. And Aerel, Freya, footsteps growing faster. And then the screaming starts, so it doesn't take long for everyone else to notice, but you have a split second. Rukhari, you're able to, jolt awake, hand on your sword, just from as the sounds of cries break out through the night. Cornering you in this alleyway, Rukhari, are two thugs sort of at the front. You see them just slay the shopkeeper that was a part of the caravan in front of you. Blood just sort of splattering against the wall right next to where you were just sleeping, and her body just falling to the ground, and that sort of sweet smell that had been of food around this caravan just changes to that coppery scent of blood, as those strangers dressed in those weird clothes, those foreigners, are running around just almost indiscriminately slaying anyone that is in their path. Their clothing looks similar to that of the person that had healed you earlier, actually. But you will see them running. I'm going to have everyone, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Wait. Oh.
No
Wait,
preamble.
Wait,
On
like,
your
how do you
Perception.
roll initiative?
Perception.
Perception? Oh. Alright. Wait, what?
You're fine. You had it, Aerel. We're just waiting for Pekka.
Okay.
And he has it. All right. Put that. Alrighty. So top of the order is Aerel, Rukhari. that is, if you guys wish to stop these people from killing, just this festival around you has utterly erupted into chaos. The guards around the caravan have pulled their sword. You see them, Rukhari, trying to fight back these thugs, but they weren't expecting an attack. It seems like they weren't expecting anything like this to happen. People are just falling next to you. In front of our other group, you will see a group of 5 thugs just sort of approaching you, swords drawn, already blood dripping from them. And they're looking at Pekka as they go towards him. So, real quick, Aerel, you were for top of initiative.
Mm-hmm. See these
As
5
this group
men,
approaches you.
I'm gonna pull out. I'm just like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, it changed so quickly.
I have a sword somewhere. Where'd it go? I'm gonna pull out my I'm gonna pull out a great sword. No, I'm gonna pull out my bastard sword if I can. Oh, there it is. I'll pull out my bastard sword, and I'm just gonna quickly swing and see what happens. If that's all right with you.
No, that was perfect. I'm going to go ahead. We're learning this. And you guys might notice that there are no hostiles on the map. That is me still learning how to do this, but I do have them written down on paper. So I will let you know if they are bloodied or not.
Okay.
So Aerel, your attack roll on your weapon. Let's see here, I'm going to bring up your character sheet. You'll see under actions on your bastard sword that you can take that 5 and you could throw it into the tower and roll.
Oh, the 5. Okay, so.
Or for your bastard sword, I'm sorry, that is an 8. If I can look closer.
Okay.
And that will be your first attack.
Alright, so what the heck? I just rolled 8. Oh, okay. I didn't know what was going on. So no, that's not what I want to do.
You're fine.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna. I'm gonna. No. You know what? So I'm just gonna roll a d20 plus 5 and see what happens. Cause
yeah, d20 plus 8. You're fine. And I could also roll it for you if that would help.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Does a 10 hit?
A 10 does not
Yes.
hit.
God damn it.
No. So you go forward to swing at this lead thug, and you're sort of caught off guard. You know, you weren't expecting to be fighting as you sort of fumble, as you pull your sword and swing a little wide, and he's just able to take a step back away from your blade pretty easily. Rukhari, it is your turn.
Alrighty.
There are 2 thugs in front of you. Oops.
Alrighty, so remind me, we get 3 action points per turn, right?
You do get 3 action points. So
Perfect.
to unsheath your weapon does count as an action.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, he'll unsheath the katana. You see his well, I guess no one sees this, but I'll describe it anyway. His feathers all stand on end. He's going to spend another action point to rage. So -1 penalty to his AC, but +2 to damage rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to slashy slash at, let's say, the one on the left.
Okay.
With the katana. Come on. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Hero point.
You can hero point. which will allow you to
Okay.
For
reroll.
honor point.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, that's better.
There
Does
we
a 25
go.
hit?
A 25 does hit. All right, why don't you
Okay.
describe this as your sword meets him, and then
So-
full damage.
He, comes over, takes a two-handed attack. So this would actually be 1d8 plus, or excuse me, hold on. Sorry, keep forgetting, because the katana is like the longsword in 5e. D10. So it's D10 plus 4. But yeah, he comes up, he jumps, does a two-handed strike right down, like aiming for about like the shoulder region. So, okay. So 1d10. Ooh, that's pretty good. So 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 2 is 13 points of damage.
Yeah, you'll see that he has become quite bloodied. You were just short of almost cutting him in half. You see the blood just trailing down the middle of his face. And he staggers a little bit back away from you, not expecting such a strong strike. Yes. You have one more action if you wish to attack one more time.
I think that's 3 though.
Was that 3?
One
you
point
were
for
right.
drawing the weapon, 1 point for rage, 1 point for attack.
Yes, rage. I forgot. Thank you. Yes, so in Pathfinder 2e, you have 3 action moves. All right, Pekka, your turn.
Okay. Pekka is going to pull out his Mace Shield combo, and then with his Mace hand, he's going to cast Spiritual Weapon at whichever one of the group within 120 feet seems like they're the biggest and the burliest.
Mm-hmm.
And in Pekka's case, the spiritual weapon form is of a long, shadowy whip that has pieces of metal set at the end, almost resembling snake fangs.
Okay.
Excellent.
So I need to make a spell attack roll. Let's see if... I'll just do it this way, I think. The easiest way. So a 19.
Yes. Will hit.
Ooh. Full blown.
Nice. Yeah, so your whip swings forward, those fangs just sort of catching into their side and just tearing back pieces of flesh and blood just splattering over onto his companion. His howl of pain just sort of intermingling with those of everyone else, because even though this group is focusing on you, as you look around, you can see that there are sort of many fights going on all over this festival, and people just sort of running past you, fleeing. But yeah, I believe that is all your actions.
I am at 0 actions at that point.
Yep. All right, Altair. There are 5 in front of you. One looking pretty bloodied from Pekka's attack.
So I have a question. I have the group
Yes.
coercion skill. Does that mean I can attempt to demoralize on 2 targets? Or is it just
Yes.
coercion? Okay. Cool. So in that case, Altair will it is that Rurouni Kenshin moment of like she draws the scimitar and like levels it at two of the people who haven't acted yet. The moonlight glints off the blade, and again, she looks at them in the windows of her soul, or of their souls, and says, "If you value your lives, you will leave with them." And I'm going to attempt demoralize on 2 targets.
So
Why don't you describe what demoralize does as well?
Well,
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure that's probably a critical, right?
That is a critical.
So, with age, so the skill specifically is with a shout, taunt, or cutting put down, you shake an enemy's resolve. So as a result of it being a critical success, both of my targets now have frightened 2 as a condition.
Yeah, so they run.
And I also gained panache from 2 because I got 2 demoralizes off.
Yes.
So my final action, since I have panache, that lets me use vivacious speed and my swashbuckler speed. So basically I get like 20 extra feet to move because I'm extra fast. So I would just close the distance to get into melee range. And it just kind of, again, that anime style, like she's there and then
Perfect. Yes, so you see, as you know, you pull your sword and tell them if they value their lives to go. The 2 of them just sort of look at each other and then move on. They run off, just sort of pushing their way through the throngs of people that are also rushing past them. Not even trying to be cool about it. They just go. All right. And then you close the distance, and that's something that sort of makes them pick up their pace as they go. Freya.
Okay, so you did not put my spells in here, dear.
Of course I didn't.
So I don't know if you just want me to roll and we'll go from there. Because my spells can change every day. So
that's true.
Go
ahead and roll, go off of the sheet that you have, and just let me know.
So her first one is, the first thing she's going to do is actually one of her cantrips. She is going to use telekinetic projectile, which she has it as her heightened cantrip. And she is going to choose an item off of a stall close to a target that is closest to one of her allies. So whether it be Altair, Pekka, or Aerel, whoever is closest to her within 30 feet, she's going to pick a bowl, pottery, something like that. And she picks it up and she literally throws it at the person. And it is, if it succeeds at hitting at my spell modifier, which is 9, it does bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage at the GM's discretion.
Perfect.
So do you just want me to roll at a modifier of 9?
Yep.
Okay. So I got a 26 to hit.
Yep, you hit.
Okay.
Just shattering across one of their heads. Let's see. Go ahead and roll some bludgeoning damage.
Okay, and it does 1d6 plus my spell modifier, which once again is 9 damage.
Are you aiming at the one that's already injured or a fresh one that has not been struck? Two of them ran
if
away.
there are
There's
any,
3 that remains.
sorry, if there are any, so I do 11 damage. If there is any that are close to one of my allies, whether they're already injured or not, I'm more worried about any that are close to an ally.
Yeah, so I mean, Altair has just moved forward and is in front of one of the thugs, and so it probably will hit them. 11 points of
Okay.
damage.
And then
Altair, you see this bowl just shatter on this guy's head as he stumbles, surprised at this.
She looks incredibly proud of her wife. Like,
and then is either Pekka or Aerel still next to me in this?
I believe Pekka is still next to you. He is in sword. Aerel's a couple steps ahead.
Okay, so I reach out and I touch Pekka for my last move and cast Guidance. So his next attack gets a +1.
Excellent. Yeah, this battle is definitely more theater of the mind right now because we do not have tokens, and that is okay. I promise. I got a cool little drawing of what's going on.
That's okay.
We just might ask for positioning details. That's all, dear.
Yep. Rukhari, this first swordman steps forward and let's see here. I doubt that this will hit. Does a 10 hit you?
It does not, unfortunately.
Yeah, so he swipes forward, but you're able to sort of flow out your wings and just sort of move yourself backwards, better positioning yourself as the next one comes forward, swinging a mace heavily. Does a 19 hit?
That is my AC now.
Alright, so if it meets your AC, it hits you.
Okay.
That is correct. So, he brings his mace down, and I don't know if you guys could see my roll. Sorry about that. Only does 5 points of damage. That morning star coming down on your wing that has been sort of outstretched.
Okay. I do believe there's some resistance that rage gives me.
I believe it's a -1 to your AC, but go ahead. I believe you gain temporary hit points.
Hit points, right? Thank you. So that would have been. Sorry, I should have looked this up before. I apologize.
You guys are learning. We're all learning together.
To your level 3 plus your Constitution modifier, so 5. So that just brings me down to my regular hit points then.
Perfect. That is those two. It's just sort of this roar of rage. It's the one that you had almost completely sliced in half as he seeks vengeance against you. Altair, the one in front of you, swings forth with a katana, surprised that you are there. Does a 14 hit?
Nope.
No. Swinging wide, you're too fast for him to hit. I mean, you're the closest. So
because Swashbuckler, like, again, she totally just does the like Kenshin style like lazy sidestep.
Yes. Is it in 2E that swashbucklers are able to riposte?
On critical fail, it says. If it critically fails a strike against me.
10 below her AC.
And
10 below your AC. All
Yeah,
right.
so my AC is 19, so I don't think that's a crit fail,
No,
right? Yeah, okay.
but 6. The next one is a crit fail, so you are able to riposte him if you so
I am
choose.
definitely going to riposte then. Yeah. I'm gonna opt for melee strike versus the disarm. Though,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know if that probably doesn't hit.
Nope,
Alas,
sadly.
that's okay.
Let's see here. So 20. All right, and then the third one will hit you. Does a 21 hit? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Swinging at you with his katana. He jabs forward. Just as you have dodged the other attack, you sort of step into him. You know, there's 3 on 1 right now, so it's not easy for you to dodge them all. 7 points of damage.
Okay.
As he sort of stabs through your shoulder. But he is right there. And then that brings us back to top of the order with Aerel.
She gonna try this again. Oh Lord! All right. Almost. She is going to try to hit this thing. Hit him. The guy that she couldn't hit. She's gonna try it again. So
All
I'm
right.
guessing. Oh, well, I figured it out, I think.
There we go.
Does
That
an
is a
18
hit.
hit? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Oh, all right. She hit him for 8. And
See here, you have another move that you can do if you wish to hit again.
yeah, I'm gonna hit him again.
Hit him again.
I'm gonna just hit him again. I am not sorry for that.
Sam, you need to take 5 off of that roll. Because when you're looking at the weapons attacks, you need to pick the second one for your second attack.
Oh,
So it doesn't attack at your max. It goes down by 5 unless you have a feat that tells you to go down by 4. But I believe yours should go down by 5 each turn.
yeah. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Can I?
No.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You can re-roll it.
Okay. I'm gonna try the third one. See what's that do. Does the 15 hit?
No, it does not.
Can I just try and do it one more goddamn time? If I can.
That is number 2.
It will still have to be at your third strike because you still did try
Yeah.
to strike. Whether you hit or not, it
Mhm.
has to go down for multiple strike.
Yeah, so this would be at the -10 or whatever.
So minus
Yep,
2.
go ahead.
All right.
Yep.
Does
Good
Does not
roll,
hit.
though.
I keep getting 15.
Yeah.
Thank you. That hits or it doesn't?
No.
Oh.
So why don't you go ahead and describe, because your first one does hit and you deal 8 points of damage. If you want to describe that.
Okay, so I take out my master sword, and I'm like, first of all, you need to stop moving, and then I just do like that, try to cut his head off, and then when it probably does, it'll be like, I meant to do that. It was supposed to go somewhere else, but I meant to do that. So there you go. Hopefully,
I just picture
works.
this like drunken warrior stance that you
I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just gonna swing.
I love it. All right. Rukhari, it is your turn. Facing down 2 opponents.
All right. Well, he's gonna try and finish off the first guy. So he's gonna go with another katana attack. Gets the guy he's already wounded.
Mm-hmm.
Shabuski. Oh, that's quite good. 20.
Yes.
Okay. And that's a D10. Ooh, that's quite good. 9 for 13 plus 2 is 15.
He is down.
So yeah, he just like goes from the initial slash up to kind of using this hand to brace the blade. He goes in for a stab. So right here.
He just sort of folds over your blade. No longer moving.
Second. All right. The second thing I'd like to do is I would like to demoralize the second guy.
All right.
And funnily enough, I don't even need to use a cutting jab for this one, since I do have the feat Intimidating Glare. So I just, as the guy crumples under that second blow, I just look at the guy. These fiery eyes just staring him down. So
Perfect.
it is Intimidate against, what's his thing? Moralize. A will save, I believe.
All right.
Well, that probably won't
Oh
do very well.
Oh
Nope.
no.
He
Oh,
seems
no.
emboldened by the fall of his companion. He seeks vengeance.
Fair enough. I will go
Yeah.
for the second attack then.
Alrighty.
That's the second bit on the thing there.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah.
22.
Almost okay, but not quite. Yes, but you do hit him.
Oh, almost. Okay. That is 9. Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, that's another 15.
Nice job. Why don't you describe this as he is bloody, he staggers backwards beneath your sort of flurry of blows. You probably can describe it better, but yes, you definitely bloody him.
He, like, quickly just twirls the blade a little bit, get a little bit of the blood off, and comes up for a slash right by the belly.
Yeah, you definitely, you sort of see him bend over, clutching his gut, blood staining his clothing, but he's still standing, if barely, looking at you, just sort of spits at your feet. Not much else he could do right now. Pekka, there are still 3 in front of you, all 3 of them attacking Altair. One of them has successfully drawn her blood.
Okay. Is the spiritual whip on one of those 3 at the moment? Or was that on somebody else in the mix, as it were?
The spiritual weapon that you attacked with, the guy that you attacked with your spiritual weapon, yeah, he's still there.
Okay. Okay, so he's in that group of 3. In which case, I will just keep the spiritual weapon on that opponent, and I will move in, see with 25 feet if I can manage to get into or at least closer to engagement range around Altair, because I believe I'm not quite there at the moment.
Yep, you're able to come up just about beside her.
Okay. Perfect. So then it's just the spiritual weapon attack, which would a 17 hit?
17 does hit.
Well, better than nothing.
Alrighty, so 3 points of damage. Alright, and you have one more action.
Oh, okay. So the move was 20, in which case I will do a second attack.
Because you could do your... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll do the second attack with the mace just to, on whichever one of the three is closest for... Yeah, that's not going to do anything.
Nope.
That's a whiff.
Okay. Alright, Altair.
Are any of my 3 super wounded, or is it just the one that got lightly wounded?
All 3 of them look pretty wounded. From the spiritual weapon of Pekka, from your slashes, from having a bowl knocked over one of their heads. They look pretty beaten up.
So whatever one looks like the most wounded, I'm gonna attempt a finisher. So attack. I assume 24
hit.
hits.
Yes.
But that's not critical, right?
No.
Okay. So damage. Ugh.
Ooh.
And then I also do so I guess the question is strike with the weapon. Okay. And then I do 2 more d6 of damage because it is part of my confident finisher. So 1 and 2.
Yeah, describe this as you finish him.
So basically, it is it's kind of like while Rukhari is very efficient and brutal in his strikes, hers are more graceful and acrobatic. So you just see kind of that like fluid, like water dancing sort of thing where there's, you know, a slash and then a slash and then a slash, and then, you know, she just sort of flicks the blood off as he falls to the ground. And then she's going to level her scimitar at the next one and smile as only a cat can and be like, you're next, as I use that feat. So yes. I get +2 for my demoralize.
Man, you guys just demoralizing everyone.
So does 21 succeed in demoralizing him?
Yes. 21, yes.
Is that standard or critical?
Just standard. Almost.
Okay. Then he's frightened 1. And I will attempt an attack against I guess the that guy.
Not frightened, he has a negative to his AC as well, right?
I believe so.
Yes. All right.
All right. Ugh. That hit.
That will hit.
Sweet. And then you get 2 more for precision damage. So 7 damage total.
All right. He staggers, taking a knee, but still looking at you. Looks like he wants to run away, but doesn't have the energy to. Still barely hanging on. The sword in his hand, sort of trembling, but he doesn't. He's still up, in a sense. Still alive, I guess is a better way to say it. Right. Freya.
Is the one that drew blood still up?
Yes.
Okay. He needs to make a will save. DC 19.
Oof.
Fails.
Command. Or suggestion, I'm sorry. Or command. It is command, I'm sorry. It is. The creature is has to follow a single command that I give. My command to him is to drop his weapon.
Drops it. Just clatters to the ground.
And then I walk up towards the group to get closer to them for my third action.
Alrighty. Rukhari, the one. No. Let's see, here 2 remaining, right? Nope. You took one out. The one remaining one with his eyes full of vengeance, he shall swing at you with that mace that had entered your wing and critically hits you.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Sorry, I rolled a 20.
It happens.
1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 12 points of damage.
Okay.
It's sort of that fight of desperation, near the end, just completely wailing at you. You're able to dodge some of the attacks, but he's continually going with that desperation of someone that is fighting for their life. He takes it out on you. Altair. It takes the one that is on his knees is going to try and stand up, and that invokes an attack of opportunity from you.
Yeah.
I believe.
I think so.
But he has nothing else to do but try and stand and at least die on his feet.
Ugh. I always roll terribly on these.
As he stumbles back trying to get to his feet, it's just enough for him to, maybe it was Lady Luck, just miss that blade.
She got too excited.
A little too excited. She smelled the blood. Does a 16 hit?
Nope.
He got too excited as well, stumbling forward to try and hit you, and you're just able to sidestep him again, just sort of with a chuckle. He's trying so hard. But an attack of opportunity again as the one tries to pick up his blade. Wait, you only get one attack of opportunity, right?
I believe so.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you have a feat saying otherwise.
I do
Yeah.
not think we're at that level yet. One action, he's able to pick up his blade with the next 14. 19 meets your AC, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Again, only 8 points of damage. Sorry, I should be adding this. Thank you. Completely desperate. You were able to dodge out of the way of the other one, but weren't expecting the one to pick up his sword and strike at you. Sort of in the side. the blood staining your kimono that you really like, destroying the fabric there.
She looks really pissed about that. But I will say also for the party, like she looks like she's not struggling, but she looks wounded. But you're pretty sure her righteous indignation at her favorite kimono getting wrecked is probably what's keeping her from noticing that she should probably be in pain.
That's true. All right, Aerel.
She sees Altair getting wounded. She gonna turn around and she's gonna attack the guy that wounded her.
Okay.
Does a 14 hit?
It does not.
I'm gonna try it again. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
These dice rolls, Aerel. You have one more attack.
Oh, for the, you know what? Dang it didn't do it. Did it? No. Does that hit?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yay!
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Did it.
7. I did it. I did a thing.
Why don't you describe this as you hit him? Your previous sword spike's going wild.
So she's like kind of swinging wildly there for a moment. Then she's like, okay, all right, hold on. Take your time. So she takes her master sword, swings it around, and just grabs him by the shoulder, runs him right through, twisted it for the heck of it, and then like just cut him like literally like that and drops him.
He does drop. As your sword sort of rams through him, he coughs up blood as it flecks across your face, and he falls backwards, sort of wheezing, barely clinging to life, but you're not sure if he's going to be able to get back up after that one. But he's still breathing. But you finally got a hit in. Rukhari. This one is looking at you with sort of animalistic eyes.
What a coincidence. So am I. Yeah, he's gonna first try to finish off this guy. We get the good old katana. If I can find the thing. Actually, there we go. Okay. Yeah, swing. As a... Okay, excellent. Okay, 2 plus 4 is 6 plus another 2 is 8.
He's down.
All right. So after he gets clocked by, well, not clocked, slashed by the guy's scimitar, he staggers back a little bit and just with a grunt of frost, he just takes the guy's head completely off.
Yep, it's fine.
I'm not. Yep. And before the body can even fall, he'll shift the katana to one hand, grab the now headless body, drag it out of the alley, and kind of shout out, "Anyone else among you cowardly, cheesemonger-killing cowards wants to try ending me? As I will tell you now, it will take more than any of you have."
Rukhari would probably notice that raven that was landed beside him earlier is staring at him from a perch out of his reach, but is definitely staring at him.
Okay. Are there any other of these oddly dressed foreigners around? Out of curiosity.
Well, there are two. If you were to sprint at them, you would be able to get them. It looks like a group is trying to handle them. One of them looking fairly bloody.
Okay. What the hell? He'll try that.
Alright,
Sprint up. Actually, might be a thing for this.
Sudden charge.
Yeah. So, strike twice. After the guy, I would say that's badly wounded.
Perfect. They're both pretty wounded. The one that's down on the ground, barely clinging to life. Go ahead.
Okay.
You can end him.
Does a 17 hit?
It does.
Okay. Yeah. See, 8 plus.
He's out.
4, 12. Okay.
He's done. He had 1 hit point.
Okay, so yeah,
You were
you guys.
so close, Aerel.
I know, so close.
So I guess the rest of you guys, yeah, one guy crawling, and a katana just cuts his head down, right down the middle, like a ripe watermelon in summertime.
Ooh. One remains. And it is up to
Alright.
Pekka to decide what happens to him. He looks panicked, looking at you almost pleadingly to spare him.
Well, Pekka will try to make it quick. And will flick the spiritual weapon, but in a slightly different style. And instead of tearing at the opponent, what it's going to do is wrap itself around his neck, and Pekka's just going to ram it tight and do 9 points of essentially strangling damage.
Yeah, his hands immediately will shoot up to try and pull it off. Struggling to breathe, he's shouting, trying to shout at you. It's just coming out as gurgles and gasps. It doesn't take him long to stop struggling as he just sort of falls to his side. His face bloated, his eyes bloodshot. But around you, you guys are now out of combat. The entire festival has gone up in flames. You don't know what to do. Do you go to the caravan? Do you continue to try and save who's here? You guys have a moment to decide.
Altera would walk over to Freya to make sure that she's all right.
I would yell at Pekka to heal Altair first.
She's just like, don't even worry about it. Like, are
Freya
you
looks
okay?
over and sees Pekka already reading the page out of the book. And the followers did come forth to the river of blood when he's doing the full-blown 3-action heal everybody within 30 feet of 11 points.
This would heal you too, Rukhari.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
I look at the Tengu that just showed up, and in Tengu I will say thank you. because I'm not sure if he speaks the common tongue here. So I do say thank you.
I would say he replies in common, "Apologies for the interference. There's one thing that annoys me. It's those that attack common civilians."
I look at Altair at this point, and I look at Aerel. Not sure where we should go from here, because I'm good.
Did he say that in common or in Tengu?
In common, yeah.
Common.
Okay. You fought well. What brought you here?
Looking for work, mostly.
I suppose, like, Altair would, like, look at Freya and be like, we can spare another hand, can't we?
I look up to the sky, and you see the raven that was watching you just, like, fly and land on my shoulder. And it hands me a couple jewels, and I take them. And then
Oh my God.
I look over Altair, and I go, she likes him.
Your
Then
offer
work,
is...
It seems like work is what you found. If you'd have it.
Well, your offer is kind. However, I did recently accept contract aid in a caravan that apparently was supposed to be leaving. I'm not sure exactly if that's still on, considering all hell seems to have broken out here.
Then it seems that fate smiles on you, stranger, as that was the contract we received as well. There would be no
Fortuitous.
conflict.
It would seem not. He kind of like does that overblown samurai thing where he wipes the blood from the sword and sheathes it.
Yeah. Like, similarly, I feel like Altair is doing it since her kimono's ruined anyway, just...
It is curious that another contract was given almost as though she didn't trust you guys enough to finish it on your own.
Oh, yeah.
And
we know that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's one of those things where it's just like when he said that he was also hired, like, her smile is just like, oh, really? Well. But she would just look around at, you know, the destruction and havoc and be like, there's not much we can do here, even if we wanted to. Let's see what the state of this caravan is all about. Maybe we'll find some answers there in one way or another.
Here's hoping. And just for future reference, Rukhari Tsukaba, Ronin of the Tengu, at your service.
An honor to meet you. I'm Altair Basima. My wife Freya, Aerel, and Pekka, you've already met.
It would seem so. We should probably check to see if we have employment still.
It's true. So you guys pick your way over to where the caravan was. Rukhari, you saw the merchant that you had contracted with fall, but the caravan is still there. Doesn't look like it's on fire yet. If you move it quickly, because the tent right next to it is on fire. But that's to say, you don't know if you're going to get paid on the other side now.
If nothing else, there's what's inside we can sell.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
And I
to look
like
and see what they
hand
say.
Aerel the gem that my bird brought me.
She
And
takes
there
it.
is a
What was that,
possibility
Pekka?
that the our erstwhile employer has at least the remaining half funds on her, and we should at the least move her body out of the fire's way to wrap it properly.
I wouldn't waste the effort of a burial, but I do agree to you there's merit in ensuring that anything valuable on her doesn't get destroyed.
Do you want a
The
Jiangxi?
burial,
Because that's
I
how you get a
will-
Jiangxi.
I will perform a minor rite. It is unseemly in the eyes of Selkat to leave the body of a compatriot, albeit by very far stretch, in an unhandled manner. Freya, Aerel, if I could impose, you have good taste in this, I know, and would not produce poison. Please, would you one of you mind going and acquiring some tea?
And you see Ariel's bright smile when you say tea. I'll be right back. And on to the tea section to make sure all the tea is safe.
She won't come back. She won't
All the
come
tea
back.
is safe. She's like a tea groomer. She's like grabbing all the teas, make sure everything's fine.
Is it wise to send her into the burning town where everybody is running from
No.
by herself?
No.
Freya's
All right.
just shaking her head.
She has to learn eventually.
Or she'll die. So
Freya
Altair was
kisses
like,
Altair on the cheek and like runs after her.
Altair runs after Freya.
Then Freya just find Ariel
Like-
as like a tea gremlin. Like grabbing
Like
all the
you just
No.
like again, it's like Freya runs off and like Altair goes from like cool, chill, and tired to like, oh god, no!
I love it. All right, so the three of them run off, leaving Pekka and Rukhari. Does anybody check the caravan to ensure that it's okay, or you guys waiting, doing some funeral rites?
I can do.
You ran
well,
off to
before
go get tea.
Yeah, I'm not coming
ran
back
off
to
for
life.
tea.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'll say.
No, when I
Rukhari
catch
would
up
at
with
least give
you,
it a
I
month.
grab you and drag you back.
I'm like, no. Wait, mine.
Altair
I
helps.
will use command on you. I will use command on you if I have to command you back to the caravan, away from the burning fire.
Yes. Now, Aerel, I know you have many pockets on you. One, if not multiple, of those many pockets should have tea that should suffice for what Pekka is looking to do. And after the display that we witnessed from her in the argument about whether or not we could do this job and the continued insults that we have endured since taking this job, it doesn't even have to be the top of the line best. I don't care what Pekka says. It doesn't have to be. This could be between us. That's fine. He probably wouldn't know.
That is true. He wouldn't.
So I'm just saying, you don't need to go into the burning wreckage. It's okay.
But the tea, and there'll be.
And I'm
none for me
sure
to
it'll smell very nice over there. But again, we have a job to
Oh,
do.
it does.
We have work to do. Pekka's insisting on this because that's his right, and that's fine. But again, I don't want to lose you to the burning fire for something that isn't worth it. And I'm sorry. I know you
I take
really like
Ariel's
tea.
hand and start walking back.
She's like, kind of sad like a child, but then she goes and she's like, okay. And just look longingly at the burning tea. A tear in
Smells
her eye, but
divine.
smells so good.
There
She
will
just want
be
to rub
more
the
tea.
skank.
This is not the
It's
last
like
tea.
incense. Almost covering the smell of blood that's in the air.
Oh, she's like, oh, it smells so good. I ain't doing it. Nope.
You're like, wait. All right, Rukhari and Pekka, what do you do in the meantime as this is all happening?
I would say Rukhari would at least want to like inspect and make sure like nothing's on fire, nothing visibly, I guess, has been looted, like everything's strapped down and whatnot.
Yeah, so far it looks like everything is strapped down. The flames haven't quite reached it, but you can tell that there's probably not much time left. You could still hear the footfalls and the shouts of people running around. It doesn't look like these raiders are looting yet. Seems like the first step was to kill everyone.
Okay.
So you know it's only a matter of time before the looting begins.
Fair enough. Is the caravan like... I assume there's like beasts of burden and people to drive the caravan on, or like what's the nature of the caravan, I guess?
It's a wagon you completely tarped down to protect the contents that you're not able to see. You know, off in the forest a little bit is a horse pen, which is probably for the best, because if they were tied to the caravan, they'd probably be freaking out and trying to get away. So you had passed this pen right as you were coming into the forest, or into the festival, you recall.
Okay. Well, I suppose the question would stand: do we bring this to the beasts of burden to draw it, or do we bring the beasts to the wagons?
That's the question.
Pekka will stand up, having finished the initial ministrations, and shrug his shoulders and go, I do not know about you, friend, or friend-to-be, but I have found beasts of burdens most troublesome when confronting fire. And he just goes to put his shoulder in and start pushing the wagon back, essentially, towards the animal pens. So bring the mountain to Muhammad rather than the other way around.
Fair enough. And Rukhari will go in front and kind of get the, I don't know what you call the bits that come out the front of the carts.
Yeah, the harness.
The traces.
Why don't you guys both give me a strength check?
With pleasure.
Check.
As Pekka and Rukhari are like, you know, taking care of that, Altair is totally looking over the lady's body to see if there's anything on her about the job or what was in the things, like, you know.
The rest of the coin is on her. You're able to find that pretty easily, tied to her belt.
Awesome.
As well as within her pocket, a coin that isn't money but has a symbol on it that you can't quite place, but looks oddly familiar to you.
Can I do like recall knowledge or something like that? I only have warfare for lore.
Yeah. You'll probably have to think on it for a while. It's not something that
Okay.
It's like one of those things that it's just on the tip of your tongue. You could almost remember it, but it's not quite there.
Once we get back, is it possible for me to, like, while the guys are working, pull up the tarp and see what's underneath?
Yeah, go ahead.
I do. I look under the tarp.
Give me a will save.
Oh, will save? Ooh, this is bad. Okay.
Oh no.
I got a 15.
Freya, this is something that is very familiar to you. And as you look under the tarp, your hand just starts to tremble, and Altera will know the sign. She's probably right there. Or Altera,
Yeah.
where are you?
I imagine she's probably like catching back up from, you know, with the coin, just kind of frowning at it. And then obviously like seeing Freya's hand shake, like she immediately just rushes over there like, what's happening? Are you all right?
Yeah, the fires around you, Freya, increase in volume, sparking. It's almost threatening to overcome the caravan as your hair sort of swirls around you. You're losing control.
Like, can I see what she's reacting to?
Yeah.
Oh.
You look in there, and the entire caravan is just filled with drugs.
Oh. So she would immediately, like again, she has her hands like on Freya's like arms, like again being that like reassuring presence, and in the like Aerel and Pekka would recognize it as just like, this is her serious command voice. She would call for, stop the cart now. And she would attempt to sort of try to lead Freya away, or at least back a little bit, if that's doable. If not, like, if this is, you know, the bomb situation, whatever. But, you know, trying to, like, pull her from the thing that is bad is good.
So Sam, how bad is her reaction at this point?
It isn't too bad. One turn of almost, you are losing control, but it isn't quite there. Whatever Altair is able to say to you in the next couple moments will kind of determine whether you're able to calm down. So actually, Altair, I'm going to have you give me let's just do a flat D20 roll.
Okay.
Just to see how well you do. Yeah. Calm your wife down.
So basically, yeah, like she moves, so she positions herself in front of Freya, so they're looking directly at each other, eye to eye. And she would even like put her hands on the side like of Freya's face, like very slowly, so she can see, like, you know, this is not a threat. This is the, and she would be like, look at me. You are here with me right now. You are in this space. You are not there. We are together. You are in control. Whatever you are fighting right now, you are not alone. Please know that and come back to me.
So I start to try to calm my breathing, and I almost start crying, and I just like lean into Altair, closing my eyes and resting against her until I do get myself back under control.
Yeah, and she's completely there, just like scooping you in.
Yeah. Peku and Rukhari, you guys stop pulling the wagon, witnessing this, Aerel. And you almost hear tears begin to erupt within the what was left of the festival, the last of the people, and then it just sort of grows eerily quiet, as you look up, and this winged form has sort of taken to the sky. They're like white wings sort of reflecting in the moonlight, and it says something in a tongue that you cannot understand, and Freya does not seem to be of the mind to translate it right now. But it almost seems like something right now has changed, in the land. You don't know if you're going to decide to continue the caravan, but everyone around you at this festival has died except for these foreigners that are still here. And you know that you better probably move before they continue this rampage that they're on. But that's going to be where we're going to end tonight, guys, on this cliffhanger. Sorry about the technical difficulties earlier. Thanks for bearing with us in that. This has been our beginner Pathfinder campaign, where we are learning Pathfinder together. We have Jen and Ash, who have been our great veteran players who have played Pathfinder before. We have Brittany and Staffan and Steve, who are our new players that we're all just trying to teach. Hopefully next time everything will work a little bit better so that the teaching can go a little bit smoother. It's been trial by fire, guys. It's been amazing. Make sure to turn in Sunday. We are going to be continuing our Pathfinder Age of Ashes campaign, with Ian, and it is amazing. If you want more Pathfinder, make sure to tune in then at 8:30 on Sunday. Other than that, I'll let everyone kind of do your outros. Where can we find you guys? And again, make sure you come back on Friday. This is going to be a continuing campaign. Every episode is going to be a year. So a year is going to have passed between this group, between now and next episode. And this will continue for the next 5 years, it seems. So it's exciting. This group is going to have a lot of adventures. But yeah, we're going to do outros, and we're going to start with you, Brittany.
Well, Ariel's worried about her with her parents right now. She's so worried about her parents. But hello, everyone. My name is Brittany. You may find me on Brittany B Writes, where basically I sit and I tweet about classes. I tweet about my writing. I tweet about anime. I just cry over books because that's what I do for a living now, apparently, while I'm not in school. And yeah, that's me. You get to find me here playing Aerel, who's worried about her new parents, because she loves them both so much. Love you guys.
Our dysfunctional families continue in Pathfinder. That's great. And Steve.
All right, so yeah, Rukhari as a new game to hang out with. We'll see where he kind of falls in the hierarchy, but that's for next session. You can usually either find me on what is now the Penny for a Tale Discord under Steve, where I just kind of hang around, talk to folks. I'm also on Steve Schwa91 on Twitter, where I mostly tweet about nature photography, getting extremely and in some cases almost unnecessarily angry at the state of freshwater in the U.S. And other other things, various. But yeah, fun to finally dip my toes in this. I've been wanting to try Pathfinder for a very long time.
Oh, I am excited to have you. So it's great. Ashely.
So I am Ashely. I enjoyed playing with everyone and looking forward to our future games. Much to a couple people's dismay, I currently do not do Twitter or anything like that. They are lucky they have gotten me onto Discord recently. So we will see what the future holds as far as all that goes.
Get you on Twitter yet? Staffan.
I'm Staffan or Pekka tonight, who now seems to have yet again a wider flock to cater to steer through whatever travails we have ahead of us. Yeah, might have to do something about that white dragon one of these years. But aside from that, normally find me under RQ Staffan. I hang out in a number of channels, just lurking around. Weave the Tale, Mini Terrain Domain. And apart from here, you'll also bi-weekly find me back here on Tuesday nights, where we will be attempting to test the sanity of the channel and see how long it survives.
It's going to be interesting. All right. And Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. I played Altair Besima, the cat folk swashbuckler. I can be found on the internet as Savage Sparrow. In particular, I wanted to plug my Patreon, which is patreon.com/SavageSparrow, because I am an illustrator and I do a lot of really cool art. And in particular, I've been posting a couple of the pieces I've been doing for the various Pathfinder games. And interestingly, today I posted a piece of my other character, the best friend, in Chianja. So this is funny timing. And
Yeah, funny.
yeah, right? So give it a follow. It's pretty cool. Otherwise, savagesparrow.com is my awesome site for nerdy merch, t-shirts, accessories, other apparel, etc. So you like gaming and anime, give my shirts a look. And yeah, looking forward to continuing the game. This is awesome.
Perfect. And I'm Sam. I've been the storyteller tonight. You can find me as Scribbling Penny online. Everything that you've seen, the map that I should have gotten to work better because Fantasy Grounds is amazing. I just did not show the full breadth of it. But if you want to see how amazing Fantasy Grounds is, make sure that you watch on Tuesday when the masterful Ian actually makes it work a whole lot better than I do. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing night and you're going to get to bed before midnight East Coast time. So that is always a win. All right. Have a good night.